people who are interested in seeing Vermont participate in a program that will reduce greenhouse gas emissions in an equitable way. Each of you, if you don't mind saying a few words about what do you need? What would be helpful from people who care about a strong program, an equitable program? What can we do to help you set the stage for that?
From my point of view, it's a very simple, well, it's time consuming, but simple, which is anytime there's going to be a discussion around these issues that we've been discussing, make sure to be there to talk about it in reasonable, thoughtful ways, because there are some people in the state who are determined to stop any legislation which has the government involved in fighting climate change. Yeah. And they'll say whatever they're going to say. I mean, there's
stop the carbon tax.
Well, we've already had a former Vermont Yankee lobbyist calling it a carbon tax, which of course it's not. So we need people in this room there to say, like it or not, this is not a carbon tax. This is a cap and invest program. And that changes the whole nature of the discussion, in my opinion. The other thing is when you're at those events, this is not a partisan proposal. It's worth remembering. This isn't just the, Nissan Leaf driving tree huggers that have initiated TCI. The governor of Massachusetts is a Republican, and they were really the first and most aggressive state in getting this conversation going. This is a nonpartisan concept. It's a nonpartisan negotiation and discussion amongst the states. And people need to be in the room, though, as the state, regionally in the state, when people are having this conversation. So no one can get away with saying things that are flatly untrue and trying to color it with these scare tactics. And that's the most important thing I think that everybody in this room can do, whether it's at your town energy committee, when you're before your municipal select boards, if you're on a school board talking about these things publicly, is to make sure this is actually a practical program of action to fight climate change through transportation emissions, using time-tested strategies, frankly, which were first championed and piloted by Jim Douglas when he was governor, when the RGGI program was created. So we have to accentuate the nonpartisan nature of this and inoculate communities from the rubbish we're going to hear.
Yeah, I completely agree with all of that. I just think it's really important that everybody here has their voice heard in all the ways that were just described, in letters to the editor, in op-eds. I think that'll all be really valuable in demonstrating what people in Vermont really want. I know there's some TNC representation in the crowd here. They just did some really good polling that shows the support for this kind of policy from the rural communities across Vermont. But I think the policymakers and just everyday people need to hear more of that support from those who feel that way. And then I would also say, just talk to Joey, because she's also plugged in with what's happening at the regional level, and there are additional opportunities there to really demonstrate that you want ambitious, equitable climate policy for the transportation sector.
Ooh, that's a hard question. So I want you all to engage in the process. The hard part about being the person who is leading that process is that you're all going to be pushing me and driving me in lots of different directions, and it's my job to manage that, so that's a little scary. But you gotta be engaged. You gotta attend meetings. You gotta learn things. This is an easy program and it's simple talking point to argue against. It is complicated to understand, but it's complicated to understand because it works, right? If public policy were easy, we would have solved all of the problems already. So take the time to understand it, ask questions, contact me. I'm happy to walk through any pieces of it in more detail. But thank you very much for your time and your attention today.
Thank you.
So one more last one, go back in, and I already made this earlier, but go to the Transportation and Climate Initiative page, public input, you search that, I think you'll find it. Read what other people are saying, and then see if you feel like you need your voice heard there too. I think it'll be very
will. I just want to give a big shout out and thanks again to our panel and for continuing to do the work that you're going to do to make sure that Vermont embraces a strong and equitable program. We are with you, and we have heard your message to help others be with you. And I just want to say thank you so much again for lending your time.